April 1898. The USS Maine sits at the bottom of Havana Harbor. America wants a war, Spain's trying to avoid one, and both sides are about to get exactly what they deserve. Thousands of American soldiers prepare to storm Cuban beaches defended by Spanish troops with bolt-action rifles and coastal artillery from the Napoleon era. The Spanish fleet, coal-burning cruisers and gunboats, sits trapped in Santiago harbor like fish in a barrel. Except this time, let's change one thing. Anchored off the Cuban coast is something that shouldn't exist for another 45 years. The USS Iowa, all 57,000 tons of her, a battleship from 1943 with 9 16-inch guns, radar fire control, and enough armor to shrug off anything the 19th century can throw at her. So what happens when you drop the most powerful warship of World War II into the Spanish-American War? Does it turn a 3-month conflict into a 3-day demonstration? Or does 1898 find a way to bite back? The Iowa represents a technological leap so massive it's basically sorcery to anyone in 1898. She's got radar that can detect ships beyond the horizon, fire control computers that calculate trajectories while moving at speed, and optical rangefinders that make Spanish equipment look like kids' toys. Her main battery outranges every Spanish gun by miles. Literally miles. While Spanish coastal batteries are hoping to hit something at maybe 8,000 yards on a perfect day with God's help, Iowa's 16-inch guns are landing shells with precision from over 20 miles out. Each of those shells weighs as much as a small car and carries enough high explosive to delete a city block. She's also got dual-purpose 5-inch batteries, modern compartmentalization that makes her nearly unsinkable, and oil-fired turbines that don't belch black smoke to announce her position from 30 miles away. In 1898 naval terms, this thing is a floating war crime. But even miracles have limits. The Iowa arrives fully crewed and stocked, but there's no modern support network waiting in 1898. No tanker fleet. No ammunition resupply beyond what's in her magazines. No spare parts manufactured to 1940s tolerances. She gets one tank of fuel, maybe a few weeks of operations if the captain's careful, and a finite stock of those city-deleting shells. Every shot fired is one that can't be replaced until someone invents the industrial base to make them, which won't happen for decades. The general commanding this operation faces a beautiful problem. He's got the most powerful weapon on Earth, but it's on a timer. He needs decisive results before consumables run out and before the Iowa degrades from apex predator to expensive museum piece. Santiago de Cuba becomes the testing ground. Dawn breaks over the harbor. Iowa's radar paints 2 Spanish cruisers, coal tenders, and defensive positions that Spanish commanders think are hidden. They're not. The Iowa's fire control computer has already calculated range, wind, and the trajectory needed to drop shells directly onto their magazines. The general orders standoff suppression. No heroic charges. No dramatic close-range duels. Just cold, methodical destruction from beyond effective Spanish response range. The first salvo lands at 0600 hours. 16-inch high-explosive shells bracket the coal depot, and the entire facility ceases to exist in a rolling fireball that Spanish observers initially mistake for divine intervention. Coastal batteries scramble to return fire. Their shells fall short by thousands of yards, and the ones that fly far enough are so inaccurate they're basically making wishes. Iowa pivots, walks her fire across the harbor entrance, and systematically destroys every fire control tower, ammunition magazine, and command post the Spanish built over decades. 3 hours into the battle, Spanish coastal defenses have been reduced to scattered crews with rifles, watching their world in one precision salvo at a time. The Spanish Commodore faces an impossible choice. His cruisers are trapped. His coal bunkers are burning. His shore batteries are gone. He can sortie and die gloriously, scuttle and save his crews, or surrender and become the man who lost a war in one morning. He chooses sortie, because honor demands it and because maybe, just maybe, a lucky torpedo run could change everything. It doesn't. The moment Spanish cruisers clear the harbor entrance, Iowa's radar locks them up from 18 miles out. The Spanish ships see nothing but empty horizon. Then the shells arrive. The lead cruiser's superstructure explodes. Fire control, gone. Bridge, gone. Funnels, shredded. The second cruiser attempts evasive maneuvers at her top speed of maybe 14 knots. Iowa tracks her turn, leads the target, and the next salvo punches through her deck plating like it's made of cardboard. Spanish torpedo boats attempt a desperate night attack, banking on darkness to close the distance. But radar doesn't care about darkness. Iowa's escorts, whatever small craft the U.S. scraped together, intercept 3 boats before they get within a mile. The rest scatter when star shells turn night into noon and 5-inch batteries start throwing explosive confetti into the water around them. By hour 72, Santiago is finished. The Spanish fleet is sunk, scuttled, or surrendered. Shore batteries are rubble. Coal infrastructure is ash. The U.S. controls the harbor without losing a single ship. Casualty count. Spanish Navy, catastrophic. Multiple ships gone, hundreds of sailors dead or captured, decades of infrastructure destroyed. American forces, minimal. Maybe a few wounded from flying debris during minesweeping operations. Civilian collateral, unfortunately present but limited to port facilities in the engagement zone, which becomes a political headache the general didn't ask for but has to manage anyway. Manila Bay plays out similarly but with geographical complications. Spanish Admiral Montojo hides his fleet in shallow waters behind defensive minefields, hoping depth and obstacles will neutralize American advantages. They don't. Iowa conducts high-angle long-range bombardment, dropping shells onto coastal batteries and anchored ships without entering the mine channels. Spanish gunboats are obliterated by overpressure alone. One 16-inch shell landing nearby doesn't need to hit you directly to ruin your entire day. Small torpedo launches attempt night penetrations. Radar picks them up. Escorts intercept most. One gets lucky, scores a hit on Iowa's belt armor, and nothing happens. The torpedo, designed to crack cruiser hulls from the 1890s, detonates against steel plate that was built to stop Japanese battleship rounds. It leaves a dent and a scorch mark. Damage control teams laugh about it over coffee. Within a week, the Spanish-American War is functionally over. Spain sues for peace after witnessing one battleship dismantle 2 fleets and turn coastal fortifications into modern art installations. The general gets his decisive victory. The Iowa still has fuel and shells left over. And history just got rewritten by a ship that technically won't be launched for another 45 years. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. The Iowa, having dominated every engagement, gets stuck. Not militarily. Diplomatically. European powers, watching this demonstration, panic. If America has this, what else are they hiding? Germany demands port inspections. Britain offers alliance terms that basically amount to naval blackmail. Spain's monarchy collapses 3 years early because the fleet that was supposed to preserve their colonial empire got erased in 72 hours. And the U.S. Navy, having just won the fastest naval war in history, now has to explain to Congress why they need more ships when apparently one battleship can conquer the Caribbean on a long weekend. What do you think? Could the Iowa have finished the war in under a week? Would Spain have surrendered immediately after the first salvo? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want to see what happens when a modern submarine fights the Spanish Armada, check the video on screen now. Thanks for watching.